Morning Sci-Fi, the title came from, it was actually a sample that I made up when we were linking the tracks together on the albums. So the whole thing runs like a bit of a DJ set. It's more of a journey than tracks stopping and starting. We found this sample called Morning Sci-Fi, and like Blade Runner film scores and stuff like that has always been a bit of a passion. So
we're just rifling through loads of kind of old scores and
just loved the name.
Samples.
It was like, that's good.
Loads of little Vangelis noises and things like that. So we were just making up similar ones rather than actually sampling it ourselves. And that was the title. We were trying to find a title for ages, but that kind of summed it up fairly well, really. It was right at the end of the album. So that's all the last few samples to go in, and that was
kind of a logical one. It was like, that'll do.
We collaborated with, we've got technically three vocalists on the album. So the main vocalist is Adam Taylor, who is quite a find. He's basically one of the guys at the record label knew him. He did a sort of similar job, and he's got a band called McKendrick, and we listened to some of the demos about 6 months ago. And they sounded good, but it wasn't what we wanted at the time. And then we came back to the demos. We were like, why the hell didn't we use him in the first place? So we just drafted him in and got him down to Wales and started working with him there, really.
I've been singer-songwriting since I was about 14, and I basically came to, when we first met up, they wanted a songwriter that they could kind of develop as well, but also have as a frontman role as well. So we got together in their studio in Swansea, and we just sat around a kind of dinner table. I got my acoustic guitar out. We started kind of jamming around with a few bits and pieces, and recorded some stuff off, which was basically just kind of acoustic and vocal tracks that I'd written. And the first track we did was True to Form, and the chemistry was there pretty much straight from the word go. They knew exactly what they wanted from it. As soon as they'd kind of done their bits, we worked together to kind of get the finished product together. And the chemistry was there right from the word go, really.
Kirsty Hawkshaw's done one track as well. She was probably the first collaboration. That was about nearly 2 years ago now. But she did one track, Blackout, and there's loads of other stuff we haven't actually used first.
Yeah.
Probably regurgitate and bring out later. And then we got a vocal from John Creamer, it's all part of the same family of sort of agents and DJs in America, all on the same roster. And he's absolutely wicked. We just wanted a really kind of drunken rant from him. So he was playing PlayStation about 11 o'clock in the morning, trying to keep himself awake, and just him and Stefan in the studio, and he just set a mic up. So basically he's kind of recording whatever he wanted to say. So it's just this stream of consciousness and rambling. So we kind of got some snippets out of that and used it.
He was actually talking about his dreams. You don't want to go inside.
No, we kind of left all the nasty bits out, but and then just twisted the vocal inside out, and that's the intro track on the album. So it was just nice to get sort of somebody who's known as being a producer, getting them to actually do a vocal for us instead. So it's a warped little idea.
The other guy, we also did a collaboration with Peter Huck from New Order. He actually met Richard at after the Muso Awards, and he was complaining that no one ever uses his bass lines when you get a New Order remix. So Richard was like, "Well, I'm sure my lads would love
Richard,
to."
our manager.
Yeah, would love to use some of your bass lines. So it kind of stemmed from there. He came down to the studio. 3 hours later, he'd done 2 tracks. One track is True to Form. He's got a bass line on, and then High as a Skyscraper is the second one. But he's a really nice chap.
Yeah, he spent 3 hours in the studio, and he stopped at one of the service stations. He's right, wait there, and we'll come down and get you because it's a bit difficult to get to the studio. He's like, how are we going to know where you are? He's like, in a big fucking silver Jeep, and it's got fucking Hooky across the front, and you walk up and there's just kind of like Hooky straight across the number plate. But he was amazing. He was really, really, really good. But he was tuning up. He's only got that New Order kind of sound. He's got this one.
He's got a 6-string bass as well, which is quite unusual, just so he can get higher with the bass notes.
Made by a kitchen fitting company. This guy apparently up north used to fit kitchens and make these kind of stuff, and decided to make musical instruments for about a year or two. And then made a few basses, came to him, and then sort of went back to kitchen. So it's sort of the MF5 bass.
Yeah, the sound of New Order is down to kitchen fitter. Bizarre.
So he's tuning up and he's doing the bass line for Love Will Tear Us Apart. And I'm like, oh, hang on a minute, wait, let me record. But he's done loads, so we could do about 4 records out of what he's done.
And we will.
Yeah, and we will.
Yeah.
Группа идет на посадку.
first orchestra we used, the Russian Federal Orchestra. 85 of them we used for the first album, and because it's such a big orchestra, it was kind of a little bit loose in places. Not that you can kind of spot it that much.
Yeah, their instruments were a bit kind of rubbish. We actually sacked the brass section about halfway
We got rid of
through.
them.
Started parting away. There's one bit that couldn't get there. Right, you lot out. Right, ta-da. But we went back to, basically, the reason why we went over to Russia to record the strings was...
Every string section, every country's kind of got a different sound, you know.
It's very romantic, kind of. They do big flowing lines, but their own kind of bits of intonation.
They don't play as pompous as the British string sections, if you like.
So if you use the kind of American section, apparently it's very kind of straight, and they do it literally to the letter, whereas the Russians kind of like just bend it around and just make it sound kind of quite smooth and flowing.
The live setup is kind of grown from what we did for the first album, which was a very electronic setup. It was Mike on keyboards doing bass lines and chords. I'd do all the analog stuff and all the acid lines and samples. And we'd have Alex, our drummer. We've still got that same setup now, but we've bolted on Tim Hutton, who's our bass guitarist. He's done stuff with Band Oakenfold and Groove Armada and stuff. Also does a lot of stuff by himself. We've got Adam doing lead guitar and vocals. So it's grown more into a band, and it's way more live than it has been before. And actually, it's so much more of an easy show to do, whereas last time we relied on so much electronics to do the show. This time we're actually relying on the players, and it's just so much more easy to do than last time.
It's much nicer actually having, you kind of stand or fall on your performance that night.
Yeah.
And it's more, we've never really had that before, so it's quite, there's a lot of bands that would probably see this and have been playing live since the word go, but coming from an electronic point of view, trying to cross that over into the live arena and making that work it's quite, not really a nightmare, but I think you've got to give the control to other people. You can't control the electronics, well, you can control the electronics, but you can't control somebody's performance for the night, so you just got to let it run and kind of see how it goes. But they're really, really good musicians. Everyone's really worked hard on it, so it sounds good.
It's nice to be in a boy band as well at last.
Old boy band, maybe.
Hey, steady.
They're just world class, really. They're just fantastic. Their ideas and their general scope.
And their punctuality.
Yeah, is second to none.
They're lovely blokes. Basically, I met them socially, which is how I sort of got involved, and it was just the timing of it was brilliant in such that I was kind of ripe for getting involved with something, and they're lovely blokes. And I wouldn't be here if they weren't.
No, absolutely. Top drawer.
Yeah.